Shukran. Assalamu alaikum. And welcome to our premiere of Qadar. This project is part of the Smithsonian's National Museum of African Arts, connecting the gems of the Indian Ocean from Oman to East Africa. The word Qadar means destiny. And this charming tale begins when two young folk musicians from two different countries meet and become great friends at the Oman Festival. Ahmed Surnani is from Kiryat, Oman, and Mombasa from Zanzibar. For many years, the two friends would make their annual pilgrimage to the Muscat Festival to celebrate, to perform, and to learn about music and cultures from all over the world. As the years pass, they marry, and each has a male child. Surnani is the real name for fishermen in Kiryat, and Mombasa affectionately introduces Ahmed Surnani at the festival as just Surnani, and it remains his stage name and the only name that Omani continues to call him in private. In 2007, Mombasa brings his wife and son to their first visit to Oman to meet Surnani's family. As they drive from Muscat to Kiryat, they are hurled into the cyclonic storm Ganu, which was one of the worst storms recorded in Oman's history and an actual occurrence in 2007. Only Surnani and Mombasa's son, Omani, survived the storm. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is an operetta, not opera, where everybody dies. An operetta, everybody lives, right? But our story begins here. Mombasa had already named his son Omani in honor of his best friend Surnani and in honor of the Omani people. Mombasa's dying request was that Surnani raise Omani as his own son and that he teach him the cultural traditions of Zanzibar. This operetta, Qadar, will introduce over 13,000 youth and diverse audiences in the DC and eventually millions of boys and girls club youth worldwide to the culture and the peoples of Oman and Zanzibar through a seamless exchange of African and Arabic multidisciplinary arts using the vernacular of opera. The long-term effects of this opera included being used as a tool for music educators to seamlessly integrate non-Western vocals and instrumental music into the classrooms through Oman and Zanzibar's rich modal call and response monophonic traditions. American children will learn new songs in Arabic and Kiswahili. The music undertones will also compare and contrast some of the oral call and responses traditions found in both Omani and American indigenous music that is found in jazz and also in the blues. This will serve as an important context for assisting young American students in understanding and in demystifying the Arabic scale. The opening songs, I Wish to Tell a Tale and Asabu Niginye, introduce youth to a blend of Tarab style of music and instrumentation. The opera will also serve as a history lesson about Oman and about the region. Our operetta this evening is comprised mostly of students. Our sets are created by the Duke Ellington School of the Arts Art Department. Our ensemble is the Duke Ellington School of the Arts Show Choir, and our lead actors are from the Peabody Conservatory of Music and from Morgan State University. We all have the opportunity to feel wonder every day and to make every day a fresh start and to expand on what is possible and to experience joy on every level. We embrace the opportunity to learn from each other. Creating this operetta, Qadar, has been an effortful but joyful experience that has profoundly impacted all of our lives. We thank you all so much for coming this evening. We realize that you could be home watching Scandal tonight. But thank you for supporting this educational project, which will help unite us and reinforce what we believe, and that is that we are more alike than unalike. Shukran, thank you, and enjoy.
to tell it no man tell. A tale I wish you'll tell to your children's children. Listen as I tell a la 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 la. We wish to tell a tale of our fathers. We wish to tell an old man tale, a tale that we will tell to your children's children. Listen as we tell our tale. Oh man, help me gather the children. La 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 la
Are we reviewing Bismillah today?
Perhaps later. But first, I must review our rich Omani history. Once upon a time, a glorious kingdom in the country of Oman lived a very happy Arab people, governed by a great sultan. Now there are tales of Sinbad and Queen Sheba, many ancient mysteries, but it's true that they were famous traders sailing Middle Eastern seas.
I want to sail the seven seas just like Sinbad.
Well, you know, I don't talk much about those Western exaggerated fables of Sinbad. But it's not a fable that our people not only sailed ships, but that they were skilled shipbuilders who explored the oceans and seas. And that made it easy for them to travel back and forth to Zanzibar. Everyone say Zanzibar!
Zanzibar!
Our Said bin Sultan loved Zanzibar so much that he named it the capital city for a while. Zanzibar's an island in East Africa. It was once our capital. That's where a brand new language started. Our culture's multinational.
A brand new language?
Yes, Kiswahili is a blend of African and Arabic words that even have Persian influence. Thus, our traditions are multinational from many different countries. Now, here's an important lesson. Not everyone will choose to celebrate you, and there those you won't adore. So in our past, when others have attacked us, we were strong but fled from war.
War? Wow!
No, war. The test of one's strength isn't in your ability to fight and win wars, but in your ability to fight for a legacy of peace. The lesson learned is there's no need to fight just because we don't agree. Why launch a battle with an erratic bully?
What? Erratic?
Erratic, that means very unstable, like bullies. But if you can use diplomacy, so now that you have heard of our great history and our royal monarchy, it's yours for you to tell to your children's children. It will be their legacy. We wish to tell a tale of our fathers. We wish to tell an Oman tale, a tale that we will tell to your children's children. Listen as we tell our tale. Listen as we tell our, now we've told a Roman tale. A man can have nothing but what he strives for, and the fruit of his striving will soon come in sight. So, we must all get back to work.
Yes.
Omani, you've been blessed with life, so live to work hard and always pray.
Play with us. You know there's no time to play. We must work hard. Twaka! Twaka!
To walk off.
I won't forget you.
Children, a strong person is not the one who throws his adversaries to the ground. A strong person is the one who contains himself when he is angry. Omani. Omani.
What an amazing day. An answer to the prayers I've prayed. I'm closer to my dreams. I'm nearer to what seems to be destiny.
Sounds like a crazy day. It seems just like a lazy way to use dreams to escape. It takes more than a dream to build a legacy.
Legacy. But the old woman said,
What woman?
the woman, she was just over there. An old woman, and you didn't see her. Sir Nani, this was not one of my dreams this time. She said, well, she told me, his legacy
His legacy.
and my destiny
Your destiny.
are in my hands.
His legacy, destiny in your hands. Omani, it's looking better these days.
Who else but Allah will wish a good legacy? And isn't that why you taught me to work hard to keep our proud and rich family legacy?
That is true.
Well, I especially can't wait to see a rich family legacy come to pass.
A proud and rich family legacy, yes. But I did not mean rich by this world's standards. It's better to be rich in family and in spirit than to have all the wealth in the world. Normani, even if you do become rich one day, it's still the smallest things, the little things in life that are priceless. When there's not much or just enough, you learn to make more of less. And life as such makes the road tough. Why fret? It just adds to the stress. The greatest treasure you ever will measure is found in the priceless little things. It's the little things. Some rich are poor, some poor are rich. True wealth is worth more than gold. Some least have more than those with most. The last shall be first, so we're told. The greatest treasure you ever will measure is found in the priceless little thing. It's the little things. It's your laughter like medicine. It's losing to let you in. It's peace that surpasses life's pain. It's hearing first baby cries. It's tears of joy that fill my eyes. It's falling but trying again. The greatest treasure you ever will measure is found in the priceless little things. It's the little things.
Little things.
Find the little things.
Little things.
Precious little things.
Little things.
Priceless little things.
Sir Nani, do you think my scar will ever go away?
Perhaps, but in the meantime, you've been blessed with life, so live to work hard and always pray. But most importantly, remember, it's the smallest things in life, the little things, that are priceless. So you seem more tongue-twisted than usual. Never be intimidated by those who have more than you. And the fact that her father's Mfalme, that wealthy businessman from Zanzibar, shouldn't intimidate you either.
I am only a bit intimidated because I don't really know some of my own Zanzibar culture and traditions. Sometimes, when I see my people,
I understand. Well, I can verify that you were born there.
And that's why I'm even more confused about the arrangements for a wife. I mean, will it be based on our traditions? Should she come from my birthplace?
Well, we have a little more time than in the old days to make those arrangements. And besides, she certainly won't be Mfalme's daughter, regardless of her secret everyone talks about.
She acts like a wealthy little princess. But you taught me that all things are possible.
Possible, yes, but all things are not probable. And since your focus should be your work and education, you've been blessed with life, so live to work hard and always pray. So that as you grow older, you won't have to rely on someone else, a stranger, to take care of you.
But because you've sown, you will always have someone here for you. I will always be here for you.
Omani, help me gather the children. It's time for our daily lessons. Let's start with Bismillah today.
Don't forget to say Bismillah, Bismillah. Don't forget to pray Bismillah, Bismillah. Give them every day Bismillah. Don't forget to say Bismillah, Bismillah. Don't forget to pray Bismillah, Bismillah. Give them every day Bismillah. I greet you saying Assalamu alaikum. It really means peace be upon you. You respond by saying wa alaikum assalam. Wa alaikum assalam. You are praying peace be on you too. Don't forget to say Bismillah, Bismillah. Don't forget to pray Bismillah, Bismillah. Give them every day Bismillah. It's polite for you to always say I thank you. You are welcome is kind terminology. So quick to be I'm sorry, I forgive you. I forgive you. Don't forget to say Bismillah, Bismillah. Don't forget to pray Bismillah, Bismillah. Live them every day Bismillah. Don't forget to say Bismillah, Bismillah. Don't forget to pray Bismillah, Bismillah. Live them every day Bismillah. Don't forget to say Bismillah, Bismillah. Don't forget to pray Bismillah, Bismillah. Live them every day Bismillah. Don't forget to say Bismillah, Bismillah. Don't forget to pray Bismillah, Bismillah. Live them every day Bismillah. 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 Bismillah.
Omani, come join me before you go back to work. Do you remember the young bully who you allowed to tease you about this?
Allowed?
Still there, after all these years.
I only allowed Q to bully me until I grew bigger than him.
So size determines what we allow?
I wonder if it will ever totally heal.
Perhaps. Well, Mr. Q, whom he insists on being called, is still a bully indeed. an older and sophisticated bully. He spoke to all of the Tsunami fishermen about a new proposition.
A proposition from a snake?
And a diplomatic and wealthy snake he is. He just inherited his father's fortune and he renamed it after his ego, Q Enterprises. Mr. Q made an offer to purchase the village homes closest to the shore and to help create new jobs.
And of course, everyone said no.
We did. But as you know, our Tsunami village is not the fishing community it used to be. It's just not.
Tsunami, I still have so many questions for Allah. Is it wrong for us to question Allah and the accident?
No accidents.
The incident that Allah allows as His will.
We all have many unanswered questions. But as we grow, we learn to accept His will. We learn how to accept the inevitabilities of life that
Shape our destiny.
Unfortunately, since Ganu, the big fishing companies are replacing Kiryat's legacy of being a fishing community. Some of our neighbors are secretly considering selling their businesses and homes.
How can they sell out thousands of years of Tsunami customs?
Are they sellouts because they want to feed their families respectfully? Some customs change and evolve.
What? Change. Evolve. In the same sentence.
Omani, remember, we come from a tradition that has been more than being great fishermen. I've raised you to work and study hard because we all knew this day was coming. 40 years ago, there were only a few schools in our country. And now, we have some of the best schools in the world. Your generation of Tsunamis are going to college. And I've raised you to work and study hard. Those were the best skills I could provide you. But hard work will open heaven's doors for you. So, it's time
to get back to work.
Time to take a break from work.
What? A break from work?
Yes. Today we are celebrating because I must keep my promise to your father. But today I heard an announcement about good-paying summer jobs in Muscat, particularly at the home of Infalme. Perhaps this is an opportunity for you to learn more about your birthplace.
Tsunami, I don't think it's a good time to leave the business or you.
Business most likely won't get any better. Besides, do you think it would be wise to leave when I'm even older? We come from a tradition that more than being great fishermen. Omani, you are more than an ordinary fisherman.
Another morning, another morning, another morning, another morning, another morning.
Every day is the sun that shines, it is there in the darkest skies. Every day try to read the signs that lead us to
the sun is always shining, it isn't just the dawning of another day. It's the breaking of day that we see a coming. It's the midnight sky that lights our way.
So you like to sing? I've heard your prayers. I've heard you singing your prayers. Okay, I guess that does sound strange. I've heard your prayers and I will grant you 3 wishes. 3 wishes. No? So I'm digging a hole? And the 3 wishes joke was probably offensive. My apologies. I have the tendency to put my foot in my mouth. Oh, foot in mouth is a Western phrase for not really thinking before you speak, so it's not an intentional offense, but yes, you know. Which means you were actually agreeing that I put my foot in my mouth or that I wasn't thinking before I spoke? Okay. You are not a man of many words.
And respectfully, you seem to be a woman of many words.
Respectfully?
Respectfully. We believe that there's a time to speak and a time to listen.
Oh, you're my Father incarnate in his respectable words. When I hear the cry of the muezzin, it is such a beautiful sound. I simply can't wait to return to Muscat every year to hear this beautiful, beautiful music. It is so...
Our prayers aren't just beautiful music. Respectfully.
Yes, I know. And that's the case in most cultures. And I pray too. Not like I should. Well, lately I've been doing a little yoga and meditating while I pray, but my family prays, especially my American grandmother.
Your American grandmother?
Yes, prayer was very private to her generation, similar to your customs. And by the way, I'm sure you're wondering, just like everyone else, if it's true that I was born much earlier than expected while my mother was performing in the U.S. And thank God it's no longer a secret. I'm officially a U.S. citizen. By accident.
No accidents, just incidents in Allah's plan and will. And no, it isn't a secret that I wanted to know.
Wow. Now it's like you're my grandmother incarnate too? Her and my father customarily talk about God's will and Allah's will. But you knew the secret, and you didn't want to know just like everyone else?
You sound like you come from a family of great customs.
My family has certainly desecrated a lot of religious customs.
And you seem proud of that.
Well, there's a difference between progressive and religious.
Well, we see them both as being connected, respectfully.
Really? Oman has progressed more in the past 30 years than any other country in the world, economically and educationally.
And we have still remained connected to the pillars of our faith and customs while we progress.
Perhaps I should heed my father's advice and stay away from religious conversations. Let's talk about music and culture.
Music and religion are a part of our culture.
Ooh, I think I liked you better as a man of few words.
Perhaps it is your like to always have the last word.
Though offended you were meant to compliment.
No offense was taken, but your words weren't innocent.
So let me start again and state my real and good intent.
Intent. There is no need to explain, but good intentions aren't our strength.
And now your words are intentionally rude.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I have learned that I should always say I thank you.
You
are welcome in his kind terminology. So just let me be the first to state I'm sorry. Or I forgive you. Respectfully. There is one thing we can always agree on, that music is the language people speak in every land.
Melodies tell stories that we all can understand. So this is why I sing.
We sing. This is why we sing.
I sing. This is how I sing. Oh, this is how I dance. This is how the rhythm never dies.
Sing. This is how we dance. This is how our customs stay alive.
Music is my air, the aria of prayer. It's the descant through life's highs and lows.
This is how we pray, chanting through the day. Then we sing both poetry and prose.
This is why I sing.
We sing. This is why we sing.
I sing. Now we're so different, but together we make harmony.
Oh, we grow when life ends, growing through the community.
This is why I sing.
We sing. This is why we sing.
This is how I feel. This is how I feel. This is how I let go of my fears.
This is how we're real. This is how we make each cry a prayer. A So I respectfully notice that your life seems to be centered around I. This is why I sing. This is how I dance. Everything seems to be centered around me, myself, and I. Is that your custom?
So I respectfully notice that your life seems to be centered around we. This is how we sing. This is how we dance. Everything seems to be centered around we, monsieur. Is that your custom?
We believe that the eye is only as strong as the weak.
I believe, we believe in R-E-S-B-E-C-T. Take care. No? So this is why I sing.
We see. This is why we see.
I sing.
This is how we work.
This is how we live.
This is how we face the darkest days.
We are so wonderful.
Strong sense of unity.
This is why I sing.
We see.
This is why I sing.
I see.
This is why I sing.
Wow, you have a beautiful voice.
And I'm so serious about your voice. There are singers who trained for years trying to learn to do what you do so naturally.
By the way, I can speak for my people. We are not isolated from the rest of the world. I've listened to all the styles of music: classical, jazz, R&B, pop, even the queen of soul. Aretha, what you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it.
I can explain everything to my father. I can tell he respects you, and I understand why. And I'm serious about your voice. Middle Eastern singers and musicians, they approach music like American jazz artists do. They aren't restricted to scales. I love your modes.
Modes?
And ability to do spontaneous riffs and runs.
Riffs and runs.
Well, formally, it's just the ability to ad-lib. I hate to admit, but I am so glad that my mother strongly influenced me to study, as she would say, serious music. I'm learning that the mark of a musician lies within their ability to ad-lib. Even classical musicians. I mean, I wonder how Beethoven, Mozart, Bizet would react to the music of Oman and the music of Zanzibar. Hip-hop, underground hip-hop, jazz, oh, they'd love you. Omani jazz.
Omani jazz. And on that note, I must get back to work. Live to work hard and always pray.
Okay, well, goodbye. Adios. Wiedersehen. See you later, alligator.
This young man, he reminds us of someone. He's a hard worker. I would like to have an audience with him this evening at my home. I have been watching you and how hard you work, and I am so glad you are here. Or as we say in Zanzibar, labitalo hapishwa, which means
Things don't just happen by accident.
Ah, I'm surprised you know so much about Zanzibar. And we also understand that several of our college students have had eyes for you. Now, when will you choose the beautiful flower to court? Or will your marriage be traditionally arranged?
Father?
Family, love, and marriage are the richest traditions of our heritage. We say, a man without a wife is a man without a home.
And respectfully, sir, I am still adjusting to seeing so many tourists, but flowers from other countries, so physically exposed. As you know, that is not a part of the culture that I grew up in.
Yes, good diplomacy is certainly learning to respect the customs and the traditions of others. When I was a young boy growing up in Zanzibar, I visited other tribes in Africa where the women were exposed, especially by Western media. I was surprised to see so many of our women on televisions and magazines and picture museums exposed.
So, Omani, your first official meeting with my husband is about African women's exposure?
Oh, Mani! I meant to ask our staff your name.
You invited the young man to dinner and didn't even know his name.
Well, a man is not only known by the name in which he is called, but by the voice of his character. Thus, we didn't know what his name was, but we know who he really is. How did you know his name? Never mind. I don't understand how she always knows these things. But where were we? We seem to have gotten lost.
Talking about exposure.
Yes. No, we mean no. We were talking about customs and traditions.
My dear Mfalmi, I'm sure you are confusing Omani, speaking in the plural tense again. We and our.
No, they're actually alike.
We, I represent our people. Thus, we are the voice of Zanzibar. So, Omani, we seem to have strayed or have been strayed from our original topic. A beautiful wife and daughter can have that effect on a man. As a young man, I've learned to stay neutral on conversations about religion and stay away from politics during dinner. So, let us sit and have a light meal. Let us all pray.
Bless this food that we will share, Lord, we're grateful. Hear our prayer. Bless these people in my care, Lord, we're grateful. Hear our prayer.
Bless these hands that they might share of thy goodness. Hear our prayer. Bless us so that we might share of thy goodness. Hear our prayer. May we never cease to share of thy mercy. Hear our prayer. May our lives and actions show, Lord, we're grateful. Hear our prayer.
When our words are not enough, your love and heart.
Omani. Your Omani dialect validates you, but your cheekbones, they make me ponder your African ancestry.
Well, Father, it's old news. Genealogists believe the whole world's ancestry DNA comes from Africa.
As does our African musical ancestry. We are all more intimately connected one way or another, more than this world would like to admit.
Ah, yes, connected. Leads me to how I became connected to my beautiful wife and flower of my feet.
Oh, Father.
My father and I were on a business trip to Washington, D.C. in the United States, and he insisted that I accompany him to the Kennedy Center to see the opera Carmen. You know the opera Carmen? Well, the opera diva that my father wanted to hear that night had fallen very ill. And guess who the understudy was that night? Exactly. Antoinette became a star overnight, and I became her biggest fan and immediate lover of the opera.
Yes, we created a new chapter in the history of Zanzibar.
Our family's first unarranged marriage just happened to be to an American diva.
What about learning American courtship? Learning to date an American diva is very, very challenging.
My husband had to learn very quickly how to treat a queen.
A queen?
Oh, yes. My father raised me as his princess, and to be a queen. For a crown doth not a queen, nor a king, or a husband make.
You see, this is why my father had to adjust to her at first. He wasn't used to women being so very.
Very, very strong.
No. Our women have always been strong. He wasn't used to a very Western.
A tad bit opinionated.
A sassy, feisty, sometimes complicated.
Vibrant, gracefully sophisticated. A
Diva.
But Infami's mother fell in love with me immediately, and his father soon became a bigger fan than he. Omani, a mother always intuitively knows what and who is best for her children. Infami's mother knew that I would treat him as a king and that he would treat me as a queen.
Indeed. Oh, so I'd like to propose a toast to my beautiful daughter, who will return to New York this week to continue her second year of studies, and to hard work that opens heaven's windows. And thus, my staff and I have all agreed to promote Omani's work efforts. Omani will be serving as an apprentice on staff, starting immediately. Your first task, Omani, is to attend tonight's annual international ball here at my home. I can't put my finger on this, but you remind me of someone. Some people search far and wide for a place they can long to come home to, never quite knowing the feeling of love for a place they belong to. I know a place where all searching ends there. Zanzibar, Zanzibar, love that lasts with each new change of season.
Zanzibar, Zanzibar, love's the reason I call this my home. Different melodies,
different rhymes sung together in perfect time. Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar. This is my land making off you let home with a joy that's unending. The sea and sky weaving on the sunset with colors of blending. Honor the past, traditions that last.
Zanzibar, Zanzibar, it's my beautiful land enchanted.
Zanzibar, Zanzibar, I'm replanted in family soil. Brand new start and a chance to show. Plant a seed and then watch it grow. Zanzibar, 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 Zanzibar. Love at last leads to a change of season. Zanzibar, Zanzibar, love's the reason I call this, the reason I call this my home. Heart honored just like a king. Zanzibar, Zanzibar, Zanzibar. In the market we gather together and greet one another at sunrise. Everyone always eager for trading and loudly debating with love. How we love Zanzibar is our home. Zanzibar, Zanzibar, that's the reason I call this my home. Coast to coast and across the sea, this will always be home to me. Zanzibar, 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 Zanzibar.
Q, this is the young man I told you about and would also like to introduce you to. Omani. I would like to introduce you to Q. Q, this is Omani. His father and I were friends for many, many years, and our families have relationships for many, many years. And where there were talks about many arrangements, in many ways.
Assalamu alaikum, Omani.
Wa alaikum salam. Q?
As I said, I remember Omani from the small fishing village in Kiryat, but he's originally from Zanzibar, correct?
Did you say you knew him as a child? Well, he's grown to be quite a hardworking and fine young man from Zanzibar. A body. Oh, my princess.
Sorry, my father. Oh, money.
Wa alaikum salam, Zuri.
Hi. Q?
Good evening, Princess. Princess, I see more of you in Muscat than in New York.
Oh, well, you were quite a busy man last year.
What else would you expect my last year on campus?
Congratulations are in order.
Thank you. I invited you to my graduation. Why didn't you come?
My parents sent gifts. I'm sure when I'm in the one of the many college damsels and dames you put in distress were able to attend?
Rumors and lies. But I am human and guilty of some sins. Fleeting moments. As my mentor always used to say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
And as my mentor, my father, says, a man's character is who he really is behind closed doors, whether in Rome or in Oma.
Oh, that's right. You still have that whole daddy's little princess thing going on. Which reminds me, I need to speak with your father about a special arrangement he made with my beloved father many years ago, which involved daddy's little princess becoming my bride.
Oh, your bride?
When the best of times becomes the worst of times, it's hard to smile, pretending nothing's really wrong.
How does the best of times become the worst of times? It's hard to smile, pretending nothing's really wrong.
When my perfect timing becomes someone's worst timing, I love to smile, pretending nothing's really wrong.
This is perfect timing, and life is about timing. She makes me smile, impending that I am not wrong.
This is not good timing. I sense it's not good timing. I see him smile, pretending nothing's really wrong.
When the best of times becomes the worst of times, it's hard to smile, pretending nothing's really wrong.
My life is about timing. She makes me smile, impending that I am not wrong.
Pretending nothing's
My little
really
princess
wrong. We need to discuss your conversation with his father many years ago. Many years ago.
They've known each other since they were very small. Very small.
Sorry, that was not officially
They love to fuss and fight.
They say I am right. Exactly. Their childhood bond has always been estranged. And my husband is blind.
She's grown to be so beautiful, so beautiful. She's beautiful. He's handsome and he's tall, and he's always been kind. Did I tell you Omani was from Zanzibar? I tell you, I knew from the moment I laid eyes on that boy there was something different about him.
Yes.
I knew it. Zanzibar, Zanzibar.
So I told you many years ago I wouldn't forget you.
And I haven't forgotten you either.
I know life after Ghana has been hard for you in your village, which is why I proposed a plan to help them months ago. The last person to accept was Sonani, as you affectionately call him.
Serenani accepted your proposal, but I don't think that it
But you got the best deal. Last shall be first, right? As a matter of fact, he didn't want you to know that I've personally arranged temporary housing for him when we start rebuilding tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
If you'd like, my driver can drive you to Kiryat to help Sonani pack and be with him his last night.
Last night, I don't think that I agree.
You don't agree to progress? To jobs for so many families? Last offer. My driver's waiting, doesn't want to get stuck in tonight's predicted storm. He'll have you back before tomorrow night. I even hear His Majesty's staff could make the visit. I even hear His Majesty himself could be there.
There's something about this that I still don't totally trust. But if Sernani said yes, then I trust his choice.
He's always been a wise man. Just need your signature. It's just a standard release from my driver to take you home. And make sure you give Sonani his signed copy back. Oh, and if I may, there are several more hats in the bag for you and Sonani. And again, please, forgive me. I'm such a fabulous actor. Even Father bless his traditional imperious soul said I was a drama king. I did win all the lead roles in high school. But of course that means that sometimes unfortunate things happen. Terrible things happen to all of my competitors. So, if you want to win, just get rid of the competition. Another little insect spun into my spider web. Another widow eject one to keep my ego fed. Another asset turned into a liability. Another tacit earned increasing profitability. It's time to take the show on the road. First Oman and all of the Arab states. And soon, Q Enterprises will become an
Because I've done nothing wrong. Why am I being imprisoned? I've done nothing wrong.
Qadar, Qadar is nearer than you know. Qadar, Qadar won't ever let you go. Cloaked in midnight, yet sees your scars. Holds the moonlight, yet guides the stars. A mother who won't leave her own, a love that lives so she's gone home. There's still small voice that says you're not alone. Qadar, Qadar is nearer than you know. Qadar, Qadar faith and warm. A faith that's more than eyes can see, a voice that whispers to believe. Her hand will lead you to your destiny. Qadar is nearer than you know. Qadar, Qadar, won't ever let you go. She's never far. Qadar, Qadar, Qadar. It's nearer than you know. Qadar, Qadar, won't ever let you go. Wherever you are, she's never far. Qadar, Qadar, Qadar,
You knew my mother.
Yes, I heard Qadar sing many times at the Zanzibar festival and on the night of Ganu.
So you know.
I know what she believed and that she's always been with you every step.
Every step?
Omani, we have the divine choice to take steps that can shape our destiny. And sometimes our greatest steps lead to our greatest Qadar.
Sarnani?
Omani?
Sarnani! I thought that I was on my way to see you in Kuryat.
In Muscat.
I've heard that there's very good news from you. They even said that you had a brand new home. But just as soon as I got in the car, I was arrested for crimes that I could never be guilty of.
Tonight reminds me of my best friend's gift of laughter. It was in moments like these that your father, he showed me how to laugh through life's storms. It reminds me, I enjoy performing and singing with him every year at the Muscat Music Festival.
You used to perform at the Muscat Festival?
And in those moments, our differences didn't matter.
Sarnani, you used to sing and perform at the Muscat Festival.
Not after Ganu. The The storm didn't allow me to say a final goodbye to my wife or little boy. But your father awoke to say his final hello by leaving me the blessing of raising you as my own. We survived Ganu. And Ganu's scar is still there after all these years.
Well, I may be scarred for life, but I've grown to love it. And even in this storm, I'm able to forgive the one we both know is trying to wound us.
Only forgiveness can heal our wounds or scars. That is a lesson that only life, only Qadar can teach you. And I have faith, Omani, that this is not the end of our tale.
Have you been out roaming the streets incognito again?
Of course, and in a marvelous disguise preparing for my next role.
Antoinette, you know I worry when you're out alone. And the paparazzi in the United States were onto your last disguise. By the way, what's your next role?
You'll be surprised.
I'm glad last night's storm left as quickly as it came.
This is not good. This is not good.
I haven't seen Mother this morning. She's usually the first one up. Father, you're unusually preoccupied.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, Father, I'd like to change my solo for His Majesty's delegation to a duet with Omani.
What?
Father, what is wrong?
All is...
All is well.
Well, really?
Really?
Omani, the staff have been looking for you all morning. You remind me of someone. Are you a musician? Sernani? Your stage name is Sernani. You used to perform at the Muscat Festival with
Mombasa, my best friend.
My childhood neighbor and friend.
My father?
His father.
His father? Your father?
How did you know? Oh, this is like watching one of Mother's melodramatic operas.
Will you press charges?
Charges? Officer, friends, gentlemen, what am I really guilty of? I'm guilty of trying to save a village of struggling people who haven't evolved beyond their antiquated traditions and idiotic acts of religion.
To walk off! Of all the things that should bring you shame, you're guilty of dishonoring Allah.
And your father's good name.
And your own legacy.
Shame on you! Shame on all of you for trying to set me up. Well, I just had a phone conversation with my lawyers and allies, and they'll be here tonight to free me from all of you good and righteous people.
Mr. Q, no matter how fast the moonlight runs, daylight always catches up. And daylight has outrun you. At dawn, I received a disturbing phone call from one of your board members who also works for me. Mr. Q, a good father knows the heart of his son. Thus, before he took his final journey, he gave me an amended version of his will and final testament, giving me the authority to act as executive of Q Enterprises as needed. All goods, services, and properties which were taken illegally in your plans to monopolize in Qadar have been returned with generous dividends to all. The blood of your father runs through your veins. Thus, all charges will be dropped.
Q, you must learn to be kind to everyone you meet, because both wolves and angels are sometimes in disguise. Now, you should talk to Princess about making arrangements to leave this region and country quickly, and Omani will decide on a modest amount of money for you to receive as your monthly allowance. It's yours to keep for your sake.
Yeah.
His Majesty's delegation just arrived. And guess what? His Majesty the Sultan came with them this time.
Darling, I found a costume of yours while I was cleaning up this morning. You must be preparing for my favorite opera. Well, every opera that you perform in is my favorite opera, but especially Qadar.
Tale of our father's fathers, we wish to tell an Oman tale, a tale that we will tell to your children's children. Listen as we tell our tale.
Listen as we tell our.
Listen as we tell our. Now we proud and bold.